got another video to address students' questions. So my student was asking to explain further what I meant by guide tones and how you use them and what they are. Guide tones refer to how chords connect, usually referring to circle of fifth progressions. So I'm going to play a couple circle fifths of progressions. Here's a very simple one. Very simple. You see what I mean? The roots of those chords are all 1/5 apart. And in that case, I was just playing dominant chords. Here's another circle of fifths progression. Okay, and you can hear how those chords connect, even though this one's in diminished fifth. Okay, it's a circle of fifths progression. And we have lots of circle of fifths, especially in 2-5-1s, like in Coquette, in All of Me. So we have circle of fifths progression in Gypsy Jazz all the time. So in circle of fifths progressions, what you have to think of is that the third of one chord becomes the seventh of the next chord, and the seventh of the next chord becomes the third of the next chord. So I'm going to play starting on the seventh. I'm going to play this chord progression, this very simple one, and I'm going to bring out starting on the seventh, goes to the next chord. That's the third of the next chord. This is the seventh of the next chord. This is the third, the seventh, the third, seventh, third. You see how that works? That they connect very smoothly, in this case, by 1 fret every time. Okay? Now I'm going to start on the third. Third, seventh, third, seventh, third, seventh, third, seventh. Okay? Again, the third connects to the seventh by 1 step, connects to the third, connects to the seventh, connects to the third, It's a nice little cycle there. Now I'm going to do it in the more complex chord progression, the D minor, G7, C, F major 7, E half diminished 7, E7, A. So here's the seventh, here's the third, here's the seventh, here's the third, here's the seventh, here's the third, here's the root. I connected the third to the root. You can do that too. But I can also connect it to the seventh. Alright, now let me see. I'm going to change my voicings. I'm still going to play the same chord progression, but I'm just going to make it easier. Now we're going to start on the third. How do I want to do this? Third, seventh, third, seventh. Oh, this one's going to be hard. Third, seventh, third, and I can't go down, but the next one would be the seventh of the A minor, or I can just go to A minor. Just go to the fifth. But you see how those chords connect to seventh, third, or third, seventh, third, seventh, and then back to the normal chord. So you see how those connect. Okay, now the first goal is just to see how those tones connect. The second one is just to be aware in your improvising that you want to connect those chord tones. So if I'm playing like an A minor, or let's go to Coquette, E minor to A7, that's a circle of fifths, to D. So what I want to do is in my solos, I want to connect those tones smoothly. So if I was going to play that E minor, 3 and 4, and on the end of the 4, I landed on that seventh. And then on the downbeat of the next chord, I can move that to that root. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you see how I connected those chords? So that the downbeat, the and of 4 was the seventh, the downbeat was the third. Now I'll do the same thing. Okay. So in your improvising, just take advantage of those. Those guide tones and being aware of them to connect those chords. So I just connected the 7th to the 3rd to the 7th. Whenever I hear that 7th, I want to do that. Now let's do the opposite. I'm going to connect the 3rd to the 7th, which is actually the same note, the 3rd of E minor is that note, and then I'm going to connect that. So I'm going 3rd of D minor, 7th of A7, 3rd of D major. You see how I connected those? Now you can be more complex with that, and you should be more complex, but that's how we get started, is just finding those connections and intentionally creating our licks so they take advantage of those connecting chords. Now that was all considering circle of fifths, but you can create guide tones for any chord progressions, even if they're not circle of fifths, like in All of Me, C to E7. Those aren't, that's not a circle of fifths, but you can find, just look at how those chords connect. That C connects easiest to that B. So I can create a lick that takes advantage of that C going to that B. Or we can think of that this C or G go into this G sharp, and then the next chord is what? A. So it'd go to that A. That's a cool thing. So I might go. And that E actually stays through all three of the chords. So I'm actually doing a double guide tone because that E is a guide tone, as in it stays the same note. And then we have a guide tone here. Let's see, I just had a lick. That's a Yosho lick, and he's doing the exact same thing. He's taking advantage of these guide tones, and he's even taking advantage of this guide tone. So I hope that helps understand guide tones and how you use them. If you're going to start doing this in your own playing, you just have to be aware of where the thirds and the sevenths of each chord is. You have to know that when you're on this E minor, that's the third. This is the seventh. There's also a seventh up here. There's also a third down here. So you just have to be aware of those, and you're going to have to be aware of how they move to the next chord. Okay, I hope that helps. I hope that helps everyone else.